In this video, we will briefly review how to define complicated splitting patterns using the Define Multiplets dialog. Prior to launching the Define Multiplets pop-up, you should have a fully processed spectrum imported into a MiNet user database. I'm going to launch the Define Multiplets pop-up found under NMR tools. Here, I've previously defined all of my simple splitting patterns, and I've left the peaks related to my complicated splitting patterns as undefined. I will zoom in on the peaks near 8.5 ppm to demonstrate how to group these into multiplets. I wish to group the peaks for each of these into a doublet of doublet. I begin by selecting the related peaks on the Define Multiplets table. You can also click on the peak boxes directly on the spectrum. As I click peaks in the table, I'm holding Control on my keyboard to select more rows. Now I click Group Peaks into Multiplet. These peaks have been grouped together as highlighted on the spectrum. However, they've been identified as a simple splitting pattern, which we want to reassign to be a doublet of doublet. I clicked on the cell to bring up the drop-down menu, and I click DD. Now I need to define my coupling constant. Click Calculate J manually. This launches the Calculate J manually dialog. To calculate the small coupling constant, I want the distance between these two peaks and these two peaks. I can do that by clicking directly on the peak boxes or using the peak bar below. I click on each of the peak boxes to let the software know I want to calculate the distance in between them. I repeat for the second set of peaks to get the average J value. I click Confirm Average J Value to commit it to the record. Now I want to calculate the distance between those two sets of peaks. That is from here to here. Because there is no physical peak there, I can click on the peak bar to get the distance. I choose the median between these two peaks, and then once again, I will select the other median. Upon clicking on the peak bar, I get the distance between those two peaks to be 8.5 Hertz. Click Confirm Average J Value to commit the value to the record. Now I can click Cancel to close the dialog. I will repeat this process briefly for the second doublet of doublet. Hold Control on your keyboard and then click Group Peaks into Multiplet. Reassign the splitting pattern to be a doublet of doublet. Click Calculate J manually to launch the dialog. Click on the peak boxes to calculate the J value between each of these peaks. You get two small J values representing the distance between these two peaks and these two peaks. And then confirm. Now I use the peak bar to get the median between those two peaks and these two peaks. Click Confirm Average J Value. Click Cancel to close the dialog. And that is how you define a more complicated splitting pattern using the Define Multiplets window. Click Save to commit the changes.